All right, Nick. Just how you draw it up. Bottom of the ninth. Down by 1. And your defensive replacement, Santiago Espinal. I sure hope he hits a home run. I am on one. I'm going to warn everybody right now, if you are going to watch this stream and this show and you think I'm not going to overreact about basically a game in the middle of the summer that's just 1 of 162, you're wrong. That's the warning. No hate comments. There was a clear warning. I hope he hits a home run. That would be an all-timer.
Nice cut. I guess we should probably sync this up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I got 1-1. 1-1 count. And he's coming set.
7, 6, 5.
6 pitch. Strike.
Nice. Good
Am I
take.
ahead of you?
No, I think we're right on 1-2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're right around each other. I just don't know if we're perfectly synced up. It's going to be hard to probably get perfect anyways.
8,
so
7, 6,
6, 5, 4.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. There we go. We're there. Please, just find a way to get on base, man. Just get lucky. Please get lucky. Please. Ha ha! Yes! Yes! I don't give it. It's a terrible decision. It's a horrible decision. But it worked out. It worked out. I mean, you can't say it didn't work out. Holy, there is a Jesus. Oh, baby. The 74 WRC plus slugging. Santiago Espinal.
Oh, my God.
Tell me we're not bunting. Tell me we're not bunting. Let's be ready to hit fastballs. Come on.
Wait, was that Espinal's first extra base hit against a right-handed pitcher this season?
It might, yeah. Hey, had it all along. Still was what.
He had 2 extra base hits against right-handed pitchers in 161 at-bats.
I need TJ Friedel to do a job here, and then we're gonna get to our. Then we're gonna get to back to our 2-hole that we have another situation brewing in. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Oh no. My stream's frozen.
Oh no.
My stream's spinning, Nick.
Well, I mean, it's all Santiago Espinal rip a double off the wall.
Dude.
And it said that we can't do this anymore.
The simulation's broken. Please fix itself. Come on.
I'll do some play-by-play for you. They're showing Francona staring out.
Oh my gosh, please. All right, he just fixed his glasses. It just came back. Am I on track? I feel like I'm going to be behind you now.
Set.
Yeah, I'm going to be behind you because it's probably buffered.
Pitch. Ball. Up.
Ball? Okay.
Can you hit refresh or something?
I'm going to do it after.
You want me to pause it?
No. You
Okay.
don't mess with the thing.
All right.
I'm just going to wait and see this at bat, and then I'll try to get back. All right, ball.
I've got to be quiet. My wife will murder me tonight.
I'll do all the yelling.
You got to
yell
do
for
all
both
the
of us.
I've got to.
How about you whisper?
Please tell me to calm down if I get too excited.
All right, you gonna give him the old like, if this happens again.
Jesus.
I don't like that reaction. Oh my Lanta, dude.
Ball 4.
That's not even close to the zone. I mean, that is not even remotely close to the zone.
All right, Matt, pick him up.
Yeah, the thing is the Rockies have rockied this game. This isn't a game where you're like, wow, they played out of their usual selves.
I mean, it's going to come down to Austin Hayes, right?
They're definitely walking Ellie. There's zero chance. Now, unless I will say they will pitch to Ellie, in my opinion, if McLean gets on with a walk. Or he gets on base, period, really.
Might be a pitch around.
Well, they wouldn't put the winning run at second base.
Whoa. Thank you, sir.
Steer also, by the way, what a wild thing that was. He basically was rung up, and then he got hit by the pitch, and we didn't. Benson wasn't able to get him in. Oh my gosh, dude. You're just barely ahead of me. I'm going to have to block out Nick. I really don't want Hayes to be the guy that has to get him in because he's just not. He's not that guy tonight, I don't think.
Well, I mean, Espinal ripped a double off the wall, so, I mean, anything is possible, brother.
Yeah, I think we've already used up all of our tokens. Baseball God said, Espinal off the wall. That's enough. This guy's struggling to throw strikes really, really bad. I mean, this would be what, first and second with nobody out right now?
One out.
There would be if we didn't swing.
Oh yeah.
Please, Nick. Please, Nick. TJ Friedel, man. Come on, bro. Let's
go ahead and put the runner on first on the graphic.
I'll see how many ball players we can
Watch close. You see the kid flipping the bird?
Oh, no. I wasn't paying attention enough.
No, we got to get that up on social media. Text that to Andrew. Come on.
Just we've got to also put our best hitters in a row, man. I don't know. I really don't know what to tell him. Come on, man. One swing. Come on, Hayes. One time. Right here, Dick. Please. How far am I behind, by the way? I got 1-0 count.
I got 1-0.
Okay. I don't see anything yet.
Just switched. 8, 7.
7. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. I mean, you don't have to do too much here, as much as that seems like an oxymoronic thing.
He's up to 22 pitches.
Let's put the barrel on the ball.
He's worked.
Here. Barrel on the baseball. Please, Austin. This dude's, I mean, he doesn't.
Or take a walk.
His command is atrocious.
It is, but he's made some great pitches too.
Yeah, but they've obviously helped him out. I mean, they've swung at some balls that just are not, you just can't swing at. Which hitting's hard. I mean, I get it, but those balls weren't close. Come on, Austin, please, man. I don't like that this guy's throwing fastballs what is basically middle. And they're really not even competitive swings. What a joke. What a joke of the opportunities that have been wasted as well. No way. No. I don't know if I want to see that replay. Now, listen, it's 3-2. Let's stay in the strike zone. As hard as that is, as hard as that may seem, I really don't want to go all 3 outs in the 9th inning because we didn't swing at a strike. Come on, Nick. Gosh, dude. We're just
tough.
Not
ball 4, but that was a tough hit.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're just not seeing the ball well. That's all I'm thinking. I mean, I'm glad he put a bat on it. He's trying to swing at anything close, but you're not seeing the ball well.
Yeah,
if you're swinging a pitch like that. A ball in the gap wins a game.
Oh for 5, 4 strikeouts, and a double play.
Can't have. I mean, that's it. All right, there's a lot to talk about. And, yeah, the intro is what it is. I'm going to have to collect myself, and we'll be back. This might be an all-time show. Might not be. I don't know, but it's going to be something.
And a pitch to bench. Change in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. You believe it. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey
15th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Reds win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first run ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line, doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first. And Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed the no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Trying to collect really my thoughts in general and trying to figure out exactly what maybe is the most important thing that happened in this game that you could kind of point to and go back and maybe make a little bit of a bigger emphasis on it. And don't know if you go back, Nick, to the very start of the game where you have guys on first and third, and the guy on first base is at one time at least, I don't know about anymore, but I know when he first came up, he basically stole at every moment, any instance that he really wanted to. Don't know if he has the green light at all times anymore. Maybe he does, and if he does, I think there's also maybe some times where you have to send the signal in to steal because maybe he's too young to understand, that there's times where you just steal because the situation dictates it. But you have first and third, basically Hayes up. You don't steal Ellie. You ground into a double play. You probably don't even have the Rockies throw the ball to second base. In fact, it did happen later in the game, I might add, and the Rockies didn't even consider throwing the ball to second base because why would you really risk trying to throw out Ellie De La Cruz when your chances of throwing him out are incredibly small? So why do that when you'd have to move a position player? A middle infielder would have to go cover the base. That leaves a hole in the infield. Your catcher then has to make a really good throw. What if he makes a bad throw? The guy from third takes off. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like pretty logical reason for the Rockies to not want to throw the ball to second base. You decide, no, we're not going to be aggressive. We're not going to steal. Austin Hayes grounds into a double play. Is that the biggest thing in the game? I don't know. Is the Rockies kind of giving the Reds opportunity after opportunity, hitting Spencer Steer? Spencer Steer then gets to go to second base because the Rockies are inept. You then can't cash in on a big 2-out hit again. You come up earlier in the game and, essentially you have a ball that was a really bad pitch that we'll get into probably a little bit later with Santillan, but you have your catcher who's catches the same way no matter the situation, I guess, where he's on both knees trying to pick a baseball out of the dirt with the go-ahead run at third base. I don't know. Maybe that's the way you're supposed to play baseball nowadays. I don't know. If it is, that's cool. I guess we'll keep doing that and seeing how far that takes us. Or is it the fact that you have a couple opportunities in the ninth inning with a guy that can't throw a strike in a pivotal moment and you chase 2 balls out of the zone when you could have had him on the ropes with the bases loaded, nobody out? I don't know. Take your pick, Nick. We can probably talk about all that and more. But maybe the most glaring, most disrespectful, most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life is you have a guy that hit a home run, hits a double, hasn't made an error yet in the game. Yet you take him out and you put in a guy that has struggled unbelievably against right-handed pitching. And thank the Lord that it worked out, because I think that is a unbelievable blessing and saving grace for Tito Francona, because there's going to be a lot of people now that are going to say, well, he was right. You got something to say about it? He was right. He was right. He was right. You know, I don't mean to have bad analogies on this show, but the only analogy that I can think of is if you go into a convenience store and you just steal a bunch of stuff, if you don't get caught, does that make it okay? It's not the right thing to do. I have a better analogy, but it has to dealing with having drinks and trying to drive home. If you get home, does that make it okay? Because nothing bad happened. All is well. All is good that ends well. Is that true? I don't know. I don't want to sit here and try to belabor a point that's been made time and time again. Oh, might I add? I don't know if you know, but the 2-hole, the guy that hits second, he's come up a couple different times in this baseball game in a pivotal spot, and we weren't able to get the job done. So let's get into it. I guess you lead the show, Nick. If you want to do the box score recap right now, we can. If you want to ditch the box score recap right this second because you have more important things to do, we can. If you have something to say before I jump into the super chats, we can do that. You tell me.
Let's just do the box score recap and rip this Band-Aid off.
All right, let's do it. Box score recap presented by Nick Kirby.
All right, Reds taking on the Rockies, game 1 of 3 at Great American Ballpark in the final series of the first half. Chase Burns against Germán Márquez. Reds jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third when MiLB Marte homered for a second straight game. Chase Burns was pretty good. His only blemish on the night was walking the leadoff hitter in the fourth and then allowing a 2-run home run on a hanging curveball to Ryan McMahon. Final line for Chase Burns, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. Germán Márquez gave up a leadoff single in the fourth, but that would be the last hit that the Reds would get off him. Márquez got the Rockies into the 7th inning with a 2-1 lead. Scott Barlow struck out the side in the top of the 7th. Then in the bottom of the 7th, Will Benson had a leadoff single. MiLB Marte doubled down the right field line. Then the Reds tied the game up on a ground ball from TJ Friedl, but that would be all the Reds would get. Austin Hayes struck out with runners on second and third. A rough night for Hayes. Tony Santillan loaded the bases in the top of the 8th. He somehow nearly got out of it, but a wild pitch gave the Rockies a 3-2 lead, and that would be the score going into the bottom of the 9th. Defensive replacements. Santiago Espinal hit his 3rd extra base hit and his 161st at-bat against a right-handed pitcher to lead off the bottom of the 9th. TJ Friedl struck out on ball 4. The next batter, Matt McLean, struck out on ball 4. The following batter, Ellie De La Cruz, was intentionally walked for the 4th time. I don't know. He's walked 4 times. I think it was 3 intentional. I don't know the exact result. And then Austin Hayes struck out to end the game. Austin Hayes goes 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts and a double play. Reds lose 3-2. Reds fall to 48-47 on the season.
All right, we got a deep drive of the day. It was off the bat of the kid that plays high school baseball, and by that I mean he's done after the 7th inning. MiLB Marte, 5th home run of the year. That was off the bat at 99 miles an hour. That would give the Cincinnati Reds, at the time, a 1-0 lead, and as we all know, that 67% chance of winning would wind up being 0. DSC, though, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Where do we start? We're going to start with Super Chats, and then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of all of this and just how unbelievably pathetic this continues to end up being. You know? Get excited, get excited, get excited. Look different, look different, look different. Something the bed. Kid show. And Quiller the Great says, really disappointed for the fans that went to see Ellie walk to first base. Also, 3 straight strikeouts on the same pitch. Yeah, it was frustrating in the 9th inning for sure because the guy seemingly didn't have a ton of control. And the one thing that all bad hitters do that I know for a fact, you can talk about whether or not they get their hands in this spot or this guy doesn't get his foot down earlier enough or that guy just doesn't see the curveball as good as he should. Whatever it is, I'll tell you what every piss-poor hitter does do. They swing at balls. They swing at balls. And that's exactly what we did. Jacob Doyle says, could have double switched Marte to DH and Espinal would have been up 9th because Hayes made the last out in that inning. No excuse. It is a bad process. Jacob, I don't think you can't double switch the DH. That's the one position you can't double switch. You can't do that. But you can forfeit the DH, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. Point is you're trying to right a wrong for taking out MiLB Marte. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to basically make an excuse. But you know what? I will say, like he hit a double. So the crazy thing is we got the result that we would have hoped for out of MiLB Marte in the 9th inning, and we still weren't capable of getting the job done. So we'll talk about it. I'm sure it'll come up. Nick will probably try not to yell into the microphone, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Dunny17 says the most frustrating game since the 2020 wild card. Maybe. I would say the Pirates game. I don't know if you remember that or not, but a few years ago when you had a pretty sizable lead and you then wound up blowing it when you quite literally had the postseason right in front of your face with a chance. I don't know if I'm going to put that. The reason I'm not going to say that this is the most frustrating game since then is because of a couple things. The 1-0 losses were infuriating. And on top of that, I'm not overly sure that this baseball team deserves us to get this upset right now. But we are anyways, aren't we? Jacob Doyle says Marte needs to move way up in the order and never be taken out. He's obviously a Marte guy. I don't know how you wouldn't be after what you've seen lately. Jaden Williams says, shout out to Austin Hayes for ending 5 innings with runners in scoring position. 4 Ks and Santillan is a terror. Santillan has been good. I'm not going to overly be aggressive towards him. Obviously, we'd like him to have a hold inning, but I continue to ask ourselves, why do we have to rely on these guys when we scored 2 runs against some bums? That's what we did. 2 runs against some bums. That's the real problem. And by the way, one of them came off the bat of MiLB Marte, who got taken out of the game. Christian Wolf says, do we buy or sell at the deadline? Well, I'll tell you on Sunday night. Let me make that decision on Sunday night. And Quilla the Great says Tito had literally 1% chance to get the result Marte had twice in the games, extra base hits with Espinal, and he got it. Process, not results. I agree. I mean, that's what it is, but you can't sit here. The problem is if you sit here and you play that game, you're going to have so many people that just hate you, and they're going to say you complain all the time, and they're going to say that you don't, what do you know more than a guy that's managed and he's Hall of Famer and won World Series? I don't know. I mean, that's the problem with that, but I think that most rational minds would understand that it's just crazy. Gadzuk says, I don't know what to say. I'll be 30 next April, and I've seen this team succeed. I don't know. And I've never seen this team succeed. I don't know why I care so much, other than I'm a loyal sap, I guess. It's a lot of us, Gadzooks. It's a lot of us. But let's get into it. Let's just start from the top. Let's go chronological order until we can't think any longer. I would love to know or have a little bit of an explanation, Nick, of where the aggressiveness decided to stop for the Cincinnati Reds. I will openly say that I think you can be too aggressive. If Ellie's trying to steal third base, Nick, as the tying run and let's call it 2 outs in an inning, that makes no sense. There's a time and there's a place to do the right thing. And I just don't understand if they don't ever tell him he can or can't run. I'm confused. Does he have the green light or not is the first question I ask at all times. Does he have the green light or not at all times? Yes or no? If he does not, then when do you dictate whether he's allowed to steal or not allowed to steal? Because it felt like a perfect opportunity to steal in the first inning. And yeah, I guess if Hayes rips a ball down the line, nobody's making it as big of a deal about it because, you didn't ground into an ending double play that ultimately cost you a run. But guess what, Nick? It did cost us a run. It did cost us a run. And I'm not going to talk about it because it was the first inning. If this happens in the 8th inning, then it would be on top of everybody's mind. But I think that play was just as important as all of the other plays we're about to talk about. I do. And I don't know where that went away, why Elly isn't incredibly aggressive like he was in the past, especially in stealing situations.
Yeah, who was it? Was it Friedel that stole a base and looked like he had a terrible lead, got a bad jump, and still stole the base in the game too? I looked it up as I was like, well, you know what? Maybe Marquez is, really good at holding on runners. Maybe Hunter Goodman's better than I thought. No. Base runners 17 for 20 against Marquez with Marquez on the mound this year. Right. Goodman ranks below average in every catcher statistic. So, yeah, I don't understand that. It has felt like at times that the Reds have given Elly De La Cruz too much information, and you just need to let Elly be Elly because he's superhuman and an absolute superstar. Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I mean the issue is just not enough good hitters, though. I mean that's the issue. It's just there's enough hitters to get. There's like enough good hitters to get by, but not enough good hitters to get over the hump.
The issue that I have is if we already know that we struggle offensively at times, then why wouldn't you try to manufacture some runs in certain spots? Like it's just put it this way. Could you ever imagine a time when you first saw Elly play baseball, which was not that long ago? I mean, it's not like this guy's been playing for 10 years. It's quite literally, a year and a half at this point? I don't really know the exact number off the top of my head, but it's not long enough for you to say he's a much different player than he was before. And I would openly say that if his regression on the aggressiveness and the stealing regresses at the same rate that it has from when I first started watching him play to what it is now, to what it would be in 2 or 3 years, Nick, his value, and I love Elly. I think Elly is unbelievably good. His value drops incredibly significant to me because, in my opinion, as soon as he loses the art or the lost art of, hey, he can steal every single pitch, he's probably going to run. He's probably going to run during this at bat. Pitchers, in my opinion, more and more are going to become a little more comfortable with him being on base. Now, maybe he'll start to steal a significant amount in a month, and that'll all change. But I just can't imagine using one of the best assets you have on this baseball team to your advantage in that spot. I'll tell you what, not only do I think that they wouldn't have thrown him out, I would be willing to place some pretty sizable money that they don't even throw the ball, Nick. I don't even know if they cover second base because I think just like you, the late in games, why you don't hold a runner on first base and you let your first baseman play deep with a left-handed hitter up, you're just calculating the odds of saying, you know what, I'd rather my position players be positioned where they're supposed to be in case the ball's put in play, I can get the out. The Rockies conceded a run later in the game, and they also conceded Elly going to second. So it kind of proves my point. But I digress because we have more things to talk about and in the ineptitude of what was somewhat of a mismanaged baseball game. I don't know if you want to go here yet. Let's do this. I got one thing to say about Stevenson. It was not a great pitch. It was not a good. It wasn't even a good pitch. It wasn't even what I would call a bad pitch. It was a very bad pitch. However, I'm more frustrated at the fact that we aren't putting ourselves in a better position. And again, this probably goes back to some of the catching philosophies. I don't know if it goes back to the essentially the coaching staff. I don't know if it's just the way that Stevenson says, hey, I'm incredibly comfortable doing it this way. If you're incredibly comfortable catching on a knee, no problem. You want to catch on a knee all game long, that's fine. But guess what? As soon as there's a major spot where one, and I get that you can't do this every time because you'd be tipping your pitches to the opposite team, but you have to know the situation, Nick. Like, you can't be on your knees with the tying run or the go-ahead run, either one of those, at third base, and you know a breaking ball's coming. You know it's coming. You called it. And what do we get? We get a spiked pitch because you have an over-anxious pitcher in a reasonable spot. Did you not see what the Rockies closer looked like? He was throwing pitches all over the place as well. But you have to be ready to get over and try to do your best to block the ball. I'm not saying he should have blocked it, to be clear, but he should have been in a better position. You don't just try to goalie stab it out there with your glove with the tying run or the go-ahead run at third base. That's baseball 101. And if that's something that's a lost art or people want to tell me I'm wrong for saying that, then so be it. I'll take my old-ass self out of here, and I'll never even complain or watch baseball again. If it comes to the day where you're supposed to catch on two knees, looking like Monica Lewinsky back there trying to stop a baseball, then I got a problem with it. You can't do that. So, yeah, if he was on his feet and he slid over and he tried to stop it and it still got by him, I would say it's an unfortunate situation. Santillan needs to throw a better pitch. But he never even gave himself a chance to block the ball. He threw his glove out there, and it flies back to the backstop, and that's the go-ahead difference. So you got the first inning where the difference could lie. You got the eighth inning where the difference could lie. And these are the margins. These are the margins. This is the difference at the end of the year, whether you can say you're in a pennant race or not. And people are going to say, oh, you're overreacting. Maybe I am. I'm just tired of the piss poor baseball by average players, and everybody gives them the benefit of the doubt like they're Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench couldn't even have blocked that. Well, maybe he couldn't have, but I know one thing: Johnny Bench isn't on both his damn knees giving a half-assed effort out to the left trying to catch the ball. I'm done. We can go to the MiLB Marte situation if you'd like, or you can chime in on anything else.
I think your point about just Reds haven't done enough on the margins. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, that's spot on. That's why we're where we're at.
It's a joke. It sucks because Stevenson's struggling a little bit at the plate. I don't mean to pile on Stevenson, but it's such a bad look. And I know why it happened, because that's the new age of baseball. You want to try to get, steal more pitches. You can frame better. You can do all these things better when you're on one knee. You feel like you're more stable. But there's a time and a place, You don't put your seat all the way back, throw your foot out the window, and drive with one hand in rush hour traffic in the middle of New York. You got to kind of understand time and place. And if Stevenson needs explained that, then I'm lost. Let's talk about Tito. I have no words for it. I don't understand. I don't get it. But at this point, it doesn't seem like it's something that we're going to get an answer to. I don't think, Nick. I really don't think we're going to get an answer for it.
The most frustrating thing for me right now is it looks like this season's going down the crapper. And one of the good things right now is MiLB Marte, one of the bright spots. And he can't even play a full baseball game when he's doing good things. And you can't even let him try to develop. That's the most frustrating thing. And if you're someone who says, well, Santiago Espinal hit a double, it was a fine decision, I don't want to talk baseball with you. I have no interest. We're so far apart that there's no point in me wasting my breath trying to explain why that was a dumb decision that worked out. Sometimes in the game of baseball, dumb decisions work out. A lot of times good decisions don't work out. But what is the difference between a 0-0 game in the first inning versus a tie game in the eighth inning? If MiLB Marte is not good enough to play defense behind Chase Burns in the first inning in a tie game, why is he all of a sudden not good enough in the eighth inning? I don't understand it. You need players like MiLB Marte to develop. And what is Noelvi Marte thinking right now? Like, I mean, this guy has had a miserable year last year. Everything went wrong, and he showed up, and he performed, went to AAA, performed, got called up, performed, got hurt, came back, still performed. He's done everything right this year, and you're pulling him out of the game in a tie game after he's played a great game. By the way, made a really nice defensive play. Maybe one of the best defensive plays, the best defensive play we've seen from him in a long time. Well, I just don't understand what we're doing. I don't understand it.
It doesn't add up. One, two. I'll tell you what. I'm almost with you. I think that I would kind of justify the decision, Nick, if you find yourself in a position where you're late in the game and you have a 2-run lead. I think call it a 1-run or 2-run lead, somewhere in there, and there's 3 outs left to get, and you don't think that spot's going to come back up pretty much under almost any circumstance. You could convince me of that. And I'm with you, though. Maybe the more frustrating part, the more concerning part, the most damning thing about it all is what you just said. It's like, and maybe Tito's not thinking 2-3 years from now because I don't want to go too far, but maybe he's not thinking that far ahead. But it's like, if you want to do anything of relevance with this baseball team, if you want to be even somewhat of a team that's worth concerning yourselves about, if you think that Santiago Espinal is going to be a major staple in that, you have for brains. I mean, genuinely. And why you would continue to take opportunities away from a kid to get some confidence. I mean, there's no way that Noelvi Marte is ever going to have more confidence than he had in this baseball game. He didn't make any errors in the game. He made a good, strong throw to first base. And in fact, when he made that strong throw in the first inning, Nick, I was like, you know what? That's one. That's one for the good guys. We need to stack up like 8, 9, 10 of those in a row and let all of those concerns and worries and whatever maybe I think he has a little bit back there in the noggin go away completely. Like, I can do this. I've done this my whole life. Because you can't get to the big leagues if you haven't done something at a high level your whole life. And that's all phases. I'm talking about hitting and fielding. I mean, even most marginal to below average fielders in Major League Baseball were considered good fielders at the lower levels. So he had the confidence at one point in his career to make every play. Yet now we continue to take him out. And it's almost setting a precedent. It's almost setting a standard. It's almost like, hey, oh, by the way, I know you've had a great game, but remember those unfortunate situations that happened a week or 2 weeks ago? We're going to remind you about that because we're going to take you out of the game. Now, I hope Noelvi's mentally tough enough to where that wouldn't cause a problem, Nick. But if you do that over and over and over and over and over again, and you know how I feel about this. I usually don't give credence to guys getting in people's head, but that can do that to a kid. Because at some point, you are who other people say you are if you let yourself believe it. I mean, and again, do I think we're there yet? No. But this whole notion of always putting in Noelvi, putting in Santiago Espinal, even in a spot like tonight where you think to yourself, there's probably a pretty damn good chance that his spot's going to come back up in a big spot.
Fifth. He was doing 5th. There were still 2 innings left, Trace.
I know.
5th.
He could have come up in a much bigger spot than even leading off the inning. And again, it worked out.
Maybe. Noelvi Marte can hit the ball over the fence. When's the last time Santiago Espinal hit a home run? Not this year. So, yeah, I mean, sure, it worked out.
You're right. That's a fair point.
It worked out. And you know what? The next 3 batters struck out. Guess why? They struck out because the guy's are really, throws hard. He's hard to hit. So, you know what? When you maybe get a mistake pitch, it's nice if you can hit it over the fence. So, sure, it worked out. Congratulations, Tito. It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out, but it didn't work out. I mean, you
If
got the
Nick
double.
Kroll and Brad Meter have balls, they'll demote Santiago Espinal tomorrow for Jake Fraley. That would be sending a message. I can't believe that I have to do a show for a baseball team that does this in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah. Well, I'd also say this. I mean, I Matt McClain's not been good at all. How long does he get opportunities to be at the 2-hole? It's remarkable, really. It's absolutely remarkable. I don't know what brand of baseball we're trying to play either. You know, I'm trying to figure that out. Like, are we trying to be? Or do we have a brand that we're trying to be?
I have no idea.
Because, like it or not, at least, you know, can we at least say last year there was a lot of guys hurt? I'm not trying to give David Bell the full pass, but let's be honest with you. He never had the health that this team's had and the production that this team's had. He never had that. He just didn't. But in 2023, you knew what we were. I mean, we were an aggressive baseball team that was going to run at every opportunity, and we were going to try and win ways that way. And now I don't know exactly what we are, but I don't know. What other option? I mean, what other? I don't know where to go. I really don't know where to go in a show like this because, yeah, they can win the next 2 games, and you know what I would say? I think they will. I think they will. But that's not good enough, Nick. It's not good enough. It's not going to get us where we need to go, and then we're going to be stuck in the middle of purgatory. We're not going to make a decision at the deadline. If we buy, everybody's going to get excited about being a team that's going to buy, and so we're about winning. Like, we can buy all we want. Unless we're going to get some unbelievable pieces back for things that I don't even know we could get, I don't see us being able to make up the ground. I don't see us being able to make up the ground. And I got news for you. We have to make some tough decisions. And they're going to have to be made fast. You have Tyler Stevenson, who's coming up on 1 year left. You have basically Austin Hayes, who's at this point a guy that's going to be gone in the offseason. You have Nick Martinez, who's going to be gone in the offseason. You have to try to get some value back for those guys unless you think you can get to the postseason and you go for it. And I hate to say it, I want to be buyers. I want to buy. I would love nothing more than to be here in the fall and trying to find a way to get to the postseason. Like I've not experienced hardly ever in my life. But I'm not naive. I'm not naive either. I can clearly see what I watch. We're on the brink of trying to have a winning series against the Marlins and the Rockies. That's what we're doing. We went on the road to Boston. They look like the better team. We went on the road to Philadelphia, and you could clearly see how far of a difference our baseball team was to what one of the better baseball teams in this league looks like. We're a far, far, far cry away from that. But that doesn't mean that we can't sneak our way into the postseason and have some fun, which is what I think a lot of this fan base would like. We're not asking to be the best team in baseball right now. But damn it, if you can't win this series, forget it, man. I'm here to tell you, forget it and sell and try to get something back that can help me either next year or in 2 years, because ultimately I'm done doing this thing over and over and over again, which is basically sit right in the middle.
Yeah, it's hard to see the Reds making up enough ground to be in a spot where they should buy.
You can't justify buying right now, and that sucks.
They should be sellers. They should be sellers.
Yeah, listen,
they should be aggressive sellers. I mean, it's just.
And I'll tell you why. I mean, if you want to know, if you want to know the real hard truth as to why they're in the spot they're in, it's unfortunately they had a starting pitching staff that has been relatively good, but they've not been maybe what we'd call elite. And you have guys like Matt McLain that you needed to be above league average, and they're one of the worst players in the league. And I'm talking offensively. That's what you needed. And you didn't get that. And now you're trying to scrape and claw and figure out what's what. And oh, by the way, I don't let me remind you, but I will. We had guys like Blake Dunn, Garrett Hampson, Connor Joe, Jacob Hurtubise playing baseball for this baseball team. And you might say that, well, Jacob Hurtubise only got 14 at-bats and Blake Dunn only got 30 at-bats and this guy only got that. Oh, yeah, add them all up for me then. Add them all up and tell me if you think that that's acceptable. Jake Fraley's not been very good for a while. Spencer Steer was not good for a really long time, and thankfully he did pick it up this last month. But in order for us to be in a spot to be a good baseball team, that position, Nick, that position probably needs to be what Spencer Steer has been somewhat for an entirety of a year at that position. I'm not saying Spencer Steer needs to be that guy because I think he can play other positions, to be clear. So he doesn't need to play at that level. But you need your first baseman to be that productive for an entirety of a year, not just for a month. So again, I'm not picking on anybody, to be clear. It's a collective effort. They're not good enough. And it's a shame because at this point, decisions are going to have to be made, and I don't know if they're going to make them. That's where I'm a little discouraged because I think we're not going to do either. And if that happens, then we're basically stuck, like I said.
It's a hard team to figure out because they don't feel good enough, but they also gave away countless games in April and May. Countless games they just flat out gave away. Either they had leads or they couldn't score a run, lost 1-0 3 games in a row. They had AAA players on the big league roster playing over players that at least gave you a chance at AAA. Yeah. And I don't necessarily think I think this team is great or anything, but you don't have to squint very hard to say there's 3 or 4 wins that were easily left on the table, and it's an entirely different conversation right now. The line between being a team that's 500 or a team that's the last team in the playoffs, it's thin. It's thin. And you need to do every single thing you can to cross that line. And it feels like the Reds have just kind of waddled at it and haven't tried to do everything and haven't turned every stone over to make sure they can get across that line.
If I would have told you back in 2024, spring training, that Matt McLain comes up with an oblique injury and Nick Krall gets on the phone and he's calling around the leagues just frantically trying to find maybe just some like a stopgap. And he makes a trade that nobody even blinks an eye at, and he gets a guy named Santiago Espinal from the Blue Jays. If I would have told you that guy was going to be one of the main cogs in 2025 for the manager, you would have thought I was an idiot. Yet here we are. It's a shame because I really like Santiago Espinal.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve any hate whatsoever. He doesn't.
It's just the nature of the beast, though, because when you sit here and you continue to get opportunities to do things that make no sense, it's mind numbing. And hey, I would just say this: like, if you're a Reds fan and you're sitting here and you're asking yourself, why why do these guys get so mad about this or that, or we're overreacting? I would just tell you to have sometimes just have a little sympathy, you know, because you sit here and you do this on a night in, night out basis, and you take a lot of time away from your own life to talk about this baseball team. And many of you that are in here that are loyal understand that, but I think there's a select group of people that probably just don't quite get it. And I get it. Maybe we're the idiots. At the end of the day, we might be the idiots that sit here and invest this much time into this franchise and baseball team. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that these are not good decisions. These aren't very much debatable topics, right? I don't know. Yet we sit here and it worked out, kind of. So that's the last thing I got to say about the Marte Tito situation. The next thing I'd like to see happen, as you've already known, is we've got to fix the 2-hole. It has to be done, Nick. I guess, you know, I got a question for you. If Ellie hits leadoff, which would obviously give him, just by pure math, this isn't a debate, this is math, science, whatever term you want to use. If you put him in the leadoff position, he's going to get the most at bats. Okay, he's going to come up faster and more often than anyone else on the team. Just a question for you. If Santiago Espinal got that double tonight, and if Ellie De La Cruz was batting second, do you think that Ellie De La Cruz gets intentionally walked?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so if they did that, right, you're putting the winning run, the fastest guy, one of the fastest guys in Major League Baseball, on first base with nobody out.
Yeah.
The longer you wait in a sequence of events to bat Ellie, he's gonna get pitched around or he's gonna get walked. Even Nick, even in the first inning, if he leads the game off, you have to pitch to him. You're not going to walk the leadoff hitter on purpose with that much speed who can steal second base. Well, we'd like to think he could, at least. I don't know if he will, but we'd like to think he could. He's going to. And by the way, when I critique the fact that Ellie's running or not running, it's nothing with Ellie. I'm not blaming Ellie. I think there's times where maybe the staff has done something that has made it to where it's either acceptable or not acceptable. I have a hard time believing. And you know what I would say? If Ellie's not smart enough to know that he needs to run in certain spots, then send the signal into JR House and tell his ass to run. But I digress. You're not going to walk him in the first inning because you lead off the game with a walk to the fastest guy, one of the fastest guy in baseball. Okay? You're not going to do that. But I do know this. If he comes up with 2 outs and nobody on base, there's a damn good chance that he's probably not going to get all that great of a pitch. So,
yeah, I've wanted Ellie De La Cruz to bat leadoff from the day he got called up, and just I don't know. It'd be cool if he could do what Shohei Ohtani and Ronald Acuna do. They bat leadoff. You would see pitches sometimes. Pitcher trying to find himself right off the rip. Maybe he could sneak a few home runs on some mistake pitches right off the bat. He's going to have a lot more running opportunities. He's going to have a lot less at-bats with 2 outs, no one on.
TJ Friedl needs to do a better job, obviously, too, in that situation. I mean, that's obvious. Whether you want to bunt him or not, Nick, I don't know. You can debate that. I personally wouldn't have bunted because I feel like TJ Friedl, I would like to think, has a good enough of, he has a good enough of a handle on his bat to be able to hit a rolled over ground ball to the right side and you can move the runner over. If he was right-handed, that might change my opinion on the whole situation, but he's a left-handed hitter. I mean, he rolls over a pitch and he does his job. He also might get a hit. The guy's somewhat kind of in and out of the zone. He might walk him. So,
I think that was part of the concern why they didn't bunt was that pitcher looked like Kyle was probably going to be pretty tough to bunt against. Those pitches had no idea where they were going some of the time. And, I mean, he struck out 3 straight batters, so they were worried about contact. But, again, why were you worried about contact? Because you had Matt McLain batting second. You set the lineup. You put the guy behind DJ Friedel.
Well, what is you have it in front of you? What is McLain's strikeout percentage?
I think it's actually improved. It's 27.6. It was a 28.5 in 2023. So
what's Ellie at?
24.9 coming into today. He didn't strike out in 5 plate appearances, right?
So he's roughly like 4 or 5% ahead of Ellie.
24.6.
And I guess my point is like that should put that in perspective a little bit, right? Like when Ellie De La Cruz walks up to the plate in a spot where you can't have a strikeout, I'd say that 80% of this fan base thinks to themselves, this is the last person I need to put in this spot.
Yeah.
And the reality is that's not the case. And you're putting a guy in that spot that time and time again has unfortunately not rebounded. And I think it's somewhat fair. I guess I'll sit here and be sentimental for them all. I think it's a little unfair to Matt McLain. He's not seen the ball well all year long, yet you continue to try to force him a square peg into a round hole here. You're trying to force him into a spot where you want him to produce, and he's just not done that. So how long that goes on is just, I don't know. If you're ever in time where you might need some help, there's always a place you can turn. 988, you can text and or call day or night. It's okay to not be okay. 24/7. Mantherapy.org as well. You can visit that. I don't know, man. Just not the best show because there's just so many speechless moments from time to time right now, and it's, I don't know if it's frustration. I don't know if it's just being tired of being tired with this whole thing. We went through what is now basically an hour show, Nick, and we've not even brought up the starting pitcher. Chase Burns has a good night. Bounces back, but again, I think some of it comes down to who you're facing. Chase Burns has not been the benefactor of facing a bad baseball team yet, and it was nice for him to finally get that opportunity, and he delivered. He did a good job. One swing of the bat, I get it. People are going to maybe talk about the fact that he gave up the 2-run homer, but truth be told, that's a good outing, especially when you factor in the fact that it's starting to get really hot at Great American Ballpark. Something to keep an eye on as well. That's the other thing about this team. I mean, we play in what is an unbelievable park to play in offensively, yet we are just incapable of producing when you need to produce in this ballpark.
Yeah, Burns was good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The walk, I think, was the bigger mistake, as I often said, than the home run. The home runs happen. You leave a pitch up, but you walk the leadoff hitter. The Rockies are just the kind of team that you can't give them anything. But again, Chase Burns overall, I mean, for start number 4 was fantastic. You didn't need Burns to be great. Well, you shouldn't have needed Burns to be great tonight. You needed Burns to come out and actually give you a little bit of length inning-wise. And like, it's almost like, if you would have said, I don't know. I'm not sure if I fully believe this, but like if you had the choice of Chase Burns throwing 4 shutout innings or like 6 innings of 2 runs, you almost might rather have the 6 innings, 2 runs against the Rockies because you think, sure enough, you're going to be able to outscore the Rockies. And so like this was the start where you just really needed him just to kind of get a little bit deep into the game, which he did, and gave the Reds an excellent chance to win.
You said it exactly how I felt. This was a game where I felt like you didn't need to be perfect, for sure. I mean, hell, I would have how many Reds fans or how many of us would have signed up for 3 runs?
Yeah, maybe 4.
Maybe 4. I mean, genuinely. You just.
Yeah, if I was like talking to Burns before the game, it would have been like, all right, this is a game, you don't have to be perfect. Just trust your stuff, throw strikes, try to get us deep into the game. Don't try to be perfect because this is a game that's set up for us to win at home. And so, yeah, he did everything you could have possibly wanted tonight.
Not to go off the rails, the only last thing I have, Fraley returns, and I guess that brings up a decision that they're going to have to make. It seems obvious what they're going to do. They're going to send CES down. He's gotten the same treatment that Austin Wynns was given. Is CES even still on the roster? Like, is he hurt?
Well, surely he's getting sent down. I mean, I think can technically still play third base. The Reds were trailing, and they didn't use him as a pinch hitter for Santiago Espinal. So surely he's getting sent down, because if he's not good enough to play in that spot, why would you have him on a big league roster at this point?
Just in case the Reds were able to tie the game and then they had to go in extra innings and there was a ball that was barely hit to Santiago Espinal's left that he would have gotten that CES wouldn't have gotten to, and that would have been the difference. I don't know. I'm obviously kidding a little bit, but yeah, I mean, CES, he's on the side of milk cartons right now, and we're trying to figure out where he is, but my guess is that he's going to be sent back down to Louisville, and that is what it is. Jake Fraley will return, but again, I got to be honest, we're just rearranging deck chairs. That's what we're doing right now. I was also thinking, how fortunate is Nick Krall that TJ Friedel's been as good as he is? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, that guy was not supposed to be this good.
Yeah. I
mean, he's struggled lately, but I'm just talking in general. Like, I guess they could have gone out in the offseason and fixed it or gotten some help there, but it just seems like it's hard to do on a day-to-day basis, but in 10 years, I think we look back at this team over the last 2 or 3 years and we think, dude, do you imagine like how fortunate the Reds were that they got all of this production, or what seemed like they were going to get production out of all of these guys making minimum? The amount of money that this baseball team, out of the productive players and what they're spending for them, is absolutely astronomically low. Yet they're incapable of going out and spending money and finding the pieces to surround them to make sure that if one of these guys that you are not paying a lot of money to doesn't produce, you actually have someone to help. And the truth is that when you spend that much money on Candelario and you spend that much money on Nick Martinez and you get the results you get, you are going to probably not be able to survive. You're not going to be able to survive. And I just... It's all around. It's an all around effort. I think it's Tito, and I also think it's Nick Krall in the front office a little bit. But I guess the most damning thing, and boy oh boy, would it be fun to actually ask the hard questions. And I'm sure you wouldn't be allowed. No one would be allowed. You'd get kicked out. It'd be fun to ask Nick Krall if he actually believed in some of these decisions that were being made. Because if he does believe in those things, then I'd ask him what was his decision making on going through and trying to find the pieces that he's putting forth towards this team. Why doesn't he go try to find some more slapdick hitters that field the ball relatively well? Just asking. Let's go get more Santiago Espinals. Why not? Why try to find guys like MiLB Marte who can hit the ball out of the park? Why even bring up Will Benson earlier in the year when maybe you had Jacob Hurtubise? It's the same thing. Jacob Hurtubise and Will Benson is the same thing as MiLB Marte and Santiago Espinal. Same kind of thing. And in fact, I would say it's probably worse with Will Benson because I think he played defensively a little bit better. But my point still stands. I don't know. It's nights like tonight that make me think. I used to think when I played baseball all the time and I was in the game, and then I stepped out for a while. So, I'm not trying to go into the weeds of this, but I think that there's times where this is appropriate. I played for a guy that played in Major League Baseball for 10 years. I played for him for 4 summers. I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot. I grew up around this game since I was 4 years old. I'm not saying I played Major League Baseball. I didn't even play professionally, no. But I did play at college, and I played at a relatively high level at the college that I went to. But I always thought when I was in the game that basically these guys just had it all figured out and they could do no wrong. And then you get older, you get out of the game, and you look back at some of the decisions that you've seen when you were in the game, and you think to yourself, man, what were they thinking? Like, what decision making were they making? Why did we do this when I played? Because that makes no sense. And sometimes you're in this echo chamber in life to where you have this motto that you live by. And for as long as I remember playing, putting the bat on the ball, was a good thing. It trumped striking out. It trumped all these things. But like as I've gotten older and I've started to think through other things, those things don't always make sense. And I guess my point is tonight when I'm watching this game and I see Santiago Espinal come into the game and I see us not trying to steal second base in the first inning. And I see us allowing a catcher to be on both of his knees trying to block a baseball. And all of these things are ho-hum. All of these things are fine, I guess. I start to think to myself, genuinely, yeah, I don't know if the guys that are making the decisions and getting paid all the money do make all the right decisions. And I'm not going to apologize for sitting here saying that some of these things I believe in can't be right, because they can't be. And I'm not saying I'm right on everything, but if you don't think we're collectively and Nick is right about Espinal leading the inning off in the 9th inning against a right-handed pitcher is absolute blasphemy, then you're just not paying attention, I guess. All right.
I just see baseball so different that it's not worth a conversation.
All right. Super chats, Reds MiLB, who, what, when, where, and why, and we'll move on. At least I'll try. We've had some supers come in. And I just want to say thank you if you have been loyally watching this show. Like the stream if you haven't already. It means a lot that you guys are here. On a night like tonight, it sucks because we should be celebrating a win. And unfortunately, we should be excited, and I could give you this news. I did put the Chatterbox Reds Nights tickets on our website. I also made it the club. So, if you're looking to go down to Smoke Justice and meet us beforehand, walk over to the game, sit in the club with us, and enjoy some Red Leg baseball on July 29th, please do so. It's on the website. You can go to chatterboxsports.com, click on store, and it is directly in there underneath C-Box Reds Night. You buy the ticket. Make sure in the notes you can put the email you'd like me to send it to, or send an email in on the email you'd like me to send it to for the ballpark app, and we'll have fun down there together, and we'll all hopefully have a jolly good time. Losing my voice.
It's pinned in the chat.
Perfect. Nick on top of it. All right. We got to scroll up to find the last super, and Neil Harris, my man, says, Trace, you have convinced me. I don't know what that means. That might be a bad thing. And Quilla the Great says, Tito versus young players with positive momentum. Yeah, it's a fight. It's definitely a fight. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a fight. Riverfront Randy did not say anything. Riverfront Randy, thank you for super chatting. If you have something to say, put it in all caps at the bottom of the deal, and we'll get to it. Flat Rock 79 says our brand is almost there, almost there. Boy, is that not true? And Quilo the Great then chimes in and says Espinal batting wouldn't be as bad if Tito didn't hamstring Benson, Hines, and Marte while they had good momentum. Marte's power gets a home run with that hit. Maybe. I mean, I listen, there is merit to both sides of this. One side's going to say that you got an unbelievable result in a double. But what Nick said earlier is also true as well. It's fair to say you don't know what the result would have been of Marte. He could have hit a home run for all we know. Or a triple. I mean, he could bang a ball off the wall, and he's fast enough to get a triple. So, do I think that was likely? Of course not. Do I think that's what we should be sitting here, telling Tito he made a bad decision because Marte would have hit a home run? No, that's nonsense. We can just say that he made a bad decision because the proof is in the pudding, in the sense that the guy has had one extra base hit and over 100 plus at bats all year long, and it just so happened to be he got one tonight. That's a good enough reason, right?
If I go pinch hit for Ellie De La Cruz with Nick Martinez, and Martinez hits a home run. Am I right? Man, I was right all along, suckers. Like, no.
Yeah, fair enough. Christian Wolf says trade for Eugenio Suarez. The problem with that is that you have to give up somebody to get Eugenio Suarez, and this baseball team is not going to make the postseason with Eugenio Suarez. I don't think they will. I hate to say that. I don't think they will. They're going to need more than Eugenio. Like, it's going to take, in my opinion, it's going to take a couple bullpen arms. Okay, so you got to give up something to get some bullpen arms. I'm not saying you have to give up a ton, but you're going to have to get some bullpen arms. You're then, in my opinion, going to have to get maybe Eugenio Suarez, but you're also going to have to get another, probably, if you're going to put me up against it, I think you need to get another starter. We're one injury away. We're one injury away on the starting rotation, Nick. From not. I mean, it would become laughable at this point.
Don't slander Brian Van Bell. He's got a quality arm. But
okay,
I'm kidding. But
that's fine.
The thing that's like the whole situation here, like the Diamondbacks are a game and a half behind the Reds, and all the smoke coming out of the Diamondbacks is we're sellers. And you know what? That's the luxury of your team having a run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That, you know what? You could say we had our run. We're not so desperate that we have an 8% chance of making the playoffs. We got to buy now. No, you say, you know what? Sometimes it's just not going to happen. The odds are against us. We're going to sell. We're going to try to actually build something that matters. And I think there's something to that with the Diamondbacks and where they're at.
I can't. I think if we all came together as Reds fans in this chat right now and understood what we really were, we can all agree that we're not good enough. Does it mean we won't watch the rest of the season? No. But I think we can get together, and I think we can look in the mirror, and I think we can say this baseball team's not good enough. Whether they won, I was going to say this, Nick, whether they won tonight or not, believe it or not. I had in my mind, coming downstairs, whether this team rallied and scored a couple runs in the ninth inning and found a way to win, I was going to absolutely be pissed off about the same things I'm pissed off about tonight. That wasn't going to change. The outcome of the result tonight was not going to change how I feel. Colton Melton. I think that's it. I can't see the name anymore. What's YouTube struggling? All right. Colton says, might be the best time ever to shop Nick Lodolo. Might be the only time he ever makes it to the All-Star break healthy. You're not wrong. Like, here's the crazy thing. Sometimes you're just thinking to yourself, like, man, I would say that same thing about a couple guys. And there's guys on that I'll say it about right now that you're going to hate me for. And I don't mean it to be that way. But, again, like, I'm not saying that you trade Andrew Abbott, to be very clear. Not saying that at all. But if you really value guys' stock as high as they are, it's at an all-time high. All-time high. Nick Lodolo, probably an all-time high too. And I don't know where Stevenson's stock is right now, but I would just say I think this baseball team could survive the same way with him as the same way they would survive without him. And you're not going to get anything for him here soon because you don't have enough value in it. So Stevenson, at least if nothing else, you trade him. You get a half year with him this year. You get a full year with him next year. That's what you get. Jay Tenzel says, Marte is so cute. I hate when he gets benched. All right. Maybe. David Bloom. Your custom Karcher jersey is on the way. I called today. Apparently, I can't buy a custom away jersey, but F it. Should be there in the next 3 to 7 days, my man. Jonathan Y1 says, agree with everything you guys are saying. Thank you. Appreciate it. You don't have to agree with everything we say around here. It's just we say things that we mean. I'd say this, a playoff team, a team that you think should make the postseason, finds a way to win this game in one capacity tonight. Whether it's stealing in the first inning, whether it's putting the ball in play when you have to. And there was a time in this game where I felt like there was a huge opportunity, and I think maybe it was McLean. I can't remember. So many things that happened. McLean was incapable of getting the job done. Whether it was when They allowed Spencer Steer, who basically struck out on a breaking ball, and thankfully the umpire was so bad at his job he didn't call it a strike, and then they hit him the very next pitch, a very Rockies thing to do, and another very Rockies thing to do by throwing the ball away and allowing him to get to second base. You have a guy at second base with 2 outs, and Will Benson's incapable of getting him in. And then you go into the next inning, and Santiano, unfortunately, can't get the job done. Tyler Stevenson can't pick him up and block a baseball. You get to the 9th inning, you get lucky, and Espinal hits a leadoff double, and you can't get him in. And that's everybody's fault. I mean, TJ Friedel had a bad at-bat. Matt McClain didn't do his job. And Austin Hayes went 0 for 4 with a double play, or 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts and a double play. I mean, your leadoff, your 1, 2, and 4 hitters, Nick, can't play as bad as they played tonight and probably win that many baseball games. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, they just haven't been good enough.
Ross says, we keep saying buyers or sellers, but I think more than likely Krall does nothing, and that's the most damning thing if he does that. That's where I would lose faith in Nick Krall. I know that I know that we have been adamant about trying to defend Nick Krall. If Nick Krall decides to sit on his hands for the 2nd straight year in a row, then we're not seeing the same thing. Then he believes that this team's closer than I think they are. So,
I'd kind of rather have them sit on their hands, though, than be 4 games out and be aggressively buying also.
Yeah, no, I think that he needs to sell, to be clear. I mean, if he buys, then yeah, I'm not going to be overly happy about it unless they go out and get like a crazy amount of deals that I'd never seen coming and they didn't give up much to get them, which isn't going to happen. But I have to see the deals before I can say whether or not I like it. But I openly admit that this baseball team isn't close. I don't think they're close enough to be aggressively buying. It would just be refreshing to see him make a strong decision and go for it in a time that maybe it's not as easy. And maybe you can refresh my memory, Nick, but when decisions were made to go get guys like Noel V. Marte or you go and you get the Tyler Mahle trade or Sonny Gray trade, those types of things, that wasn't a really hard decision if I remember right? Like clearly
there was a few idiots that said don't trade players with expiring contracts. I don't really understand that, but yeah, the vast majority of rational people understood that you had to trade. And Krall was praised at the time for the moves that he did then.
If you think you're a playoff...
2019 was the last time the Reds were still hovering around that they actually sold some pieces and made some smart moves at the time. 2019 was the last time.
If your win probability is at 8% and you think that you should be a buyer, I mean,
as a small market team,
like exactly.
Maybe if you're an 8% team and you know what, hey, if it doesn't work out for us, guess what? We kind of spend our way back out of it. There's no spending your way out of this. I mean, you're stuck with what you got.
Yeah.
And they have really, really good pieces. The Reds have really, really good young pieces, but they need better long-term pieces, not cute short-term fixes.
I agree. Like, in my opinion, I think Austin Hayes was a good stab at it. That's fine. But that being your major acquisition for the outfield, guys like Will Myers being your major acquisition for the outfield, like that's just not going to do it. It's not that's not going to be good enough if that's what your major key component is. And I also understand maybe that's not what it was meant to be. There's a small chance, Nick, that Krall and the front office thought to themselves, "Wow, we think this guy's undervalued. Let's go buy him, and then let's flip him at the deadline and get some prospects in return because we think that we're gonna basically be able to buy some prospects, which traditionally they can't do." So that makes sense to me. But if they don't trade these guys, then it doesn't make sense. Like even like Martinez last year, and again, I don't know what they would have gotten in return for Martinez, but like that's a perfect opportunity last year to trade him. It's another perfect opportunity again this year to trade him, but his stock I would like to have thought would have been higher last year.
No, he was cheaper last year too. I mean, he's more expensive now.
Well, then not only that, but I think he was better. I mean, he was better. So you're probably going to get less in return now. Mason Taylor says David Bell doesn't lose that game. Our aggression is gone. We don't steal anymore. We have a terrible approach to every at-bat. Maybe the approach thing, I don't know if that's a Bell, to be fair, but I do think the aggression is definitely something going on. I don't know. I just don't want to blame things that I don't for sure know, but clearly there's a difference in attitude about what we decided to do on the base pass. And let me also say, there's going to be some smart alecks that are going to say, you guys complained about the aggression. Now you're complaining about them not being aggressive enough. I will complain when you don't make wise baseball decisions. And if you can't see what wise baseball decisions are, and you're not capable of understanding the difference when to steal and when not to steal, or the percentages of what the best play is in certain spots, then we're not going to discuss it because it's not worth discussing. But there's a clear difference in first and third with Elly De La Cruz at first base in the first inning against a pitcher that you had said has a tough time of holding guys on clearly because he doesn't do well with guys stealing against him. And the catcher is not even an average catcher in the league. If you don't think that's an appropriate spot to steal, but then you're going to see me possibly complain later in the game that if Ellie's on first base in the ninth inning and we're down by 3 runs and he's the only guy on base and he tries to steal second base, yeah, I'm going to complain about that because that's not a wise decision to me. Because you can't hit a 3-run home run with only one guy on base, and stealing second base ain't going to do anything for you. You could sit there and argue, well, he's stealing second base to stay out of the double play. The risk isn't worth the reward. That's what this whole damn thing is about. Is the risk worth the reward? That is what we do around here. That is what a good manager would do. In fact, it's what any good decision maker does in life. I don't give a damn what your job is. If your job is to make decisions, your only sole purpose when you're doing that job is to take what the risk is, what the reward is, take them both, value them, and then make a quality decision based upon that. And what I'm trying to say is it seems like we do not take advantage of those situations appropriately anymore. And yes, when David Bell was around, did I think it was absolutely idiotic for Elly to try to steal third base with 2 outs? Yes, I did think that because the risk wasn't worth the reward. And if we're incapable of understanding that different situations dictate different things, then that's why you'll fundamentally never understand what I'm saying, and you'll think that I'm a flip-flopper and that I say one thing when I mean another. No. It's a little more gray than that when you watch a baseball game. It's not so black and white. That's all. And I'm not saying that it's all Tito. I don't know. But damn it, it feels like it. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. If the rookie year, even last year, Elly De La Cruz is on first base, dude, he's stealing in the first 2 or 3 pitches like almost every single time. Whether it made sense or not, the dude just knew that he probably was going to be safe, so he was going to do it. And now, when spots make sense to steal, he doesn't steal. That should piss you off. And it is kind of poetic. I don't want it to be this way. I hate that it happened this way. It is kind of poetic that all the jackwagons in my comments on social media when I was complaining, in the first inning, I might add, that he didn't steal that base and that it cost them a run, they were all in my comments saying, well, it's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. I mean, you're playing the Rockies. We're playing the Rockies. Not that big of a deal. Oh, okay. Well, you just lost by a run. If Ellie's, by the way, Michael Hart, fantastic question. That's what other people are asking. Is Ellie's injury hampering him at all? I don't know, but I do know this. Why the hell did he steal 6 innings later? In the same exact spot. You probably forgot he stole because the Rockies didn't even think about throwing the ball to second. That's the point. That's the point. The guy might be washed, okay? I'm not going there yet. But in my opinion, it's something to consider. I'm going to give him more time to figure that out. So, Reds MiLB. Can't wait to hear about Blake Dunn.
Blake Dunn has got a 32-game on-base streak, Trace. How about that? He was 2 for 4. The Louisville Bats lost 6-0 to Columbus. Chase Petty, he really struggled. 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs. Petty is 2 bad starts in a row, 11 earned runs, last 7 innings for him. Yasver Zulueta had 2 strong innings, 2 shutout innings, just gave up 1 hit, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Reese Hines on base 3 times, 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. Chattanooga, they won 7-6 over Rocket City in 11 innings. Hector Rodriguez was 2 for 5. Edwin Arroyo 0 for 4 with a walk. Cam Collier 0 for 4. Jay Allen, he started to heat up. He hit his 4th home run of the year. Leo Balcazar made his debut, actually came in late, got 1 at-bat, was 0 for 1. Leo Balcazar got promoted today. Curious if Sal Stewart might be the one getting promoted to AAA. He's going to play in the Futures game on Saturday. And if you might remember, when Ellie De La Cruz played in the Futures game, he got promoted right after that. So I'd be curious if Sal Stewart might be on his way to AAA. And they called up Leo Balcazar, who's technically a shortstop, but maybe more to play, more at third base to fill in for that. Trevor Kunsel, also 2 really strong innings, 2 shutout innings. We have a bunch of other stuff that hasn't gone final. Daytona was in a rain delay. They currently trailed Jupiter 6-5. They are in the top of the 8th. Alfredo Duna not playing because he's going to be in the Features game as well tomorrow. Sammy Stafora is 1 for 4. And shout out to Miles Smith. He hit his first home run, Reds' 8th round pick last season. The ACL Reds, they're also currently in action. They are trail 4-1 to the Angels. Shang-In Lin 0 for 1 with the walk. Tyson Lewis 0 for 4. Lantigua is 0 for 3. Dayton got rained out. And then we did have the Dominican teams in action, both winners earlier today. DSL Reds won 6-5 over the DSL Orioles. DSL Rojos 9-7 over the Cleveland team. Adolfo Sanchez on base 3 more times. 474 on base percentage this year. Reds top prospects getting it done. Nabiel Mariano also had a good day, 2 for 4. Stole his 6th base of the season. But looking forward to the Futures game tomorrow. I think it's at 4 o'clock, if I remember right.
Tyson Lewis has been reported that he's going to go to Daytona.
Well, he's currently playing for the ACL Reds as we speak. So I think there might have been a little bit of a jump the gun on that.
Fair.
That's definitely you could see the path there because I actually talked to Tom Nichols earlier today for an interview that was supposed to play next week before it accidentally got erased earlier today. Just been an awesome day. But Tom was talking about how there's a bottleneck with the shortstops. And Leo Balcazar got promoted, right. So that would make Sammy Stafora be able to get promoted to High A, and that would make Tyson Lewis get promoted. So I would
too
think
many
that
shortstops.
Yeah, too many.
That'll be the next thing. I'm joking. I'm trying to lighten the mood here a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that Lewis will get promoted, but probably I don't.
Is there a chance that we're trading one of these guys?
Possible. I have no idea what the Reds are going to do over the next 2 weeks. There's not really much that would surprise me. The only thing that would surprise me if they do, I think what they should do. Which is like maybe trade like Nick Lodolo.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It also makes sense, in my opinion, to trade Stevenson, but I don't think they'll do it. So We'll see. Yeah. All right. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I guess we got a little who, what, when, where, and why. We will not be here tomorrow. Obviously, we will have the fellas, the Phillips brothers. Hopefully, a big Reds win, and you guys can jump on the stream and enjoy it with them. But I'm actually going to the ballpark tomorrow, so who do I see? A little who, what, when, where, and why. What do I have the pleasure of watching, Nick?
Well, you have the pleasure of watching the Reds offense get to face Bradley Blaylock. Just announced. Reds put up 6 runs against him earlier this year at Coors Field. Mr. Blaylock, a 12.94 ERA in 5 games of the big league club and an 8.32 ERA in 11 starts at AAA. So I'm sure he will throw a perfect game tomorrow at Great American Ballpark. Brady Singer, 2 weird starts for him his last 2 times. Had that start where he gave up 2 runs over 5 innings against the Marlins. Felt like he would have gone longer, but the Reds couldn't score, so they were a little more aggressive. And then the start before that, he only got 3 innings in at Fenway Park because he was the starting pitcher for the rain delay. Singer's not faced the Rockies this year, but does have a career 0.71 ERA in 2 starts against the Rockies. Active Rockies 7 for 26. Doyle's 0 for 6. McMahon is 1 for 6. And Moniak is 2 for 3. But the Reds catch a break. They were supposed to face Kyle Freeland this weekend, and I guess the Rockies are not pitching him. Would have been a much tougher matchup than Bradley Blaylock on paper. I got to say, that's everything right. On paper. Yeah. The Santiago Espinal decision was a bad decision on paper.
Well, the good news is that we don't. I guess everyone's gonna tell you we don't play on paper.
Yeah. So I mean.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be Cy Young tomorrow, but on paper, he looks like, looks like me. I don't know. Like the stream if you haven't already. Hopefully we were somewhat entertaining, but yeah, it's frustrating at times. It's trying to. What was a huge opportunity, man. I mean, you saved the split with the Marlins. You battled back. You had 2 solid baseball games, and then you just lay the damn egg. I mean, you lay the egg. You lay the egg against the Rockies. So, and you know what sucks, Nick? The thing that sucks the most is that they played like the Rockies. They did. They played like the Rockies. So that's the most damning thing. Be one thing if they came out and just had a couple of fluke hits, broken bat singles, 1 big swing, grand slam, a couple more flares. The next thing you know, they score 6 runs and they hit the ball hard 3 times. No, they played like the Rockies. They booted the ball around. They walked guys. They hit guys. They scored 3 runs. So, all right, folks. We will see you better than ever. Me and myself and Nick. We'll see you on Sunday. The Reds do have a draft. We will have Bryce Spalding, I do believe, on Sunday. So please come tune in. Enjoy your Sunday night with some Chatterbox Reds, and hopefully we're talking about a series win against the Rockies, and decisions have to be made. I am going to try to hold myself accountable and say that they should be sellers until they get to a point where they're a game and a half out of the wild card. If they're incapable of getting to a game and a half out of the wild card by the time they reach the deadline that you see in the top right-hand corner of the screen, which is 19 days, 18 hours, 51 minutes, and 8 seconds if you're keeping track at home, then we sell. And nobody is off limits outside of the obvious, maybe 1 or 2 guys, but even them, you know what? If you want to give us the entire farm system for the next 10 years, sure, we'll do it. I don't care anymore. Just find me a way to win some baseball games. All right, folks. Love you. Appreciate you. Like the stream on the way out. Take care. Have a good night.